Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to do a little bit of a ramble video. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, but I wanted to discuss two things that are somewhat important to me and discuss why my channel is going to be changing a little bit. Number one, boy, where do I even start? It's so crazy. Number one, I have a lot less time these days to dedicate to doing these videos. Because as many of you know, or hopefully most of you know by now, I am a full-time knife maker and have been since January, so going on close to a year now, as a matter of fact. And every minute not spent in my shop, not making a knife, is a dollar that I'm not making to feed my family. So it's become harder and harder and harder for me to sit down and spend a few hours making a video on somebody else's knife and to welcome you into my collection and see how it grows. And it's just unfortunate that I haven't been able to prioritize that time as much as I would like to have. So one of the changes I'm going to be making, instead of doing full in-depth reviews that will be, 20 to 25 minutes, I'm going to start chopping them down to be a little bit shorter, for one. And secondly, because I am a knife maker now, and knife makers, it's frowned upon for a knife maker to critique another knife maker's work publicly. Now, we're all going to talk shit about other people privately and amongst ourselves, but you don't go out in front of the public and say, Joe Schmo knife maker is doing a really shitty job, his plunges look like hell, and his handles are all wonky and all that. It's not a good thing to say. I've actually turned down a couple of reviews that individuals have asked me to do on their knives because it would have put me in that position. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't critique the knives that I buy and that I receive on my own and among my friends, but to go out there publicly and say, here's what's great about that knife, but here's what's really shitty about that knife, which is what I've always been able to do freely, isn't something that I think is good for me to do anymore. So instead of getting a full-on 100% review, instead what you're going to be getting is a full presentation. You'll still see the knives in the same way that you've always seen them in the past. I will give you my personal opinions as to what I like and maybe what I don't like or what I would change, but it's not going to be quite as severe as it has been in the past. And that's just the smart way to do things. It's the respectful way to do things. You don't just go out there and start talking a bunch of crap about your peers. Whether they consider you a peer or not, it doesn't matter. We're all doing the same thing. I wake up in the morning, I go out and I grind knives. That makes me a knife maker. So whether they have less experience or 30 years more experience, and it's still, we're doing the same basic thing. By the way, yes, you will be seeing a video on my newest acquisition right here, which is the Stan Wilson and Todd Fisher collaboration. Again, I just haven't had any time to sit down and do it. I've had it for about 5 days at this point, and I just haven't had the time. Now, another change that you're going to be seeing, and this is forced by the changes brought on by YouTube themselves. Many of you who subscribe to gun-related channels already know this, but for those of you that don't, let me give you a little breakdown of what's going on. If you discuss guns on your channel, which is something I've wanted to do, I've wanted to start reviewing guns and accessories and things like that, but then I found out that YouTube will instantly demonetize any videos that are gun-related. So I said, okay, well, I guess I just won't do the gun thing. That sucks. That would have been a lot of fun, but it's a bad idea. Because even though I'm not getting rich off of YouTube money, it does help a little bit. It helps to pay for when I have to buy new lights, or if I have to buy a new camera, or if I'm buying new knives to add content to the channel. That's where that money goes. But it's not a lot. I mean, it's a couple $100. It really is next to nothing. Now, on the bigger channels that have like over 1 million subscribers, these are people that make a living off of YouTube, and they can make, 6 figures a year by constantly uploading good content. So it's a bigger deal for them. And I just went, well, okay, so that's just something I can't do. I'll just stick to my knives and everything will be all fine and dandy. Until I saw this. Check this out. This is the back door to my YouTube. This is where the content studio is. This is how we check to see what we're doing. I really don't do this very often. And then I saw that pop up. And I saw that pop up on a number of my videos. I had all of them reviewed. A couple of them they went ahead and turned back on. But most of them are left just like this. Now that's a video that I have 345,000 views on, that I will never make a single penny off of. And the more views you get, the more money you can possibly make. You guys know I have some videos that are 750,000 views, two videos that have gone over 1 million views, and the channel can't grow if they keep demonetizing things, because they're not just demonetizing, they're hiding that content. So unless you subscribe to me already, you don't know that video exists. You can't really search for it in some cases. Some cases you can, some cases you can't. And this is, very widely discussed by the Military Arms channel. Tim over there has done a great job about letting people know. The Yankee Marshal has discussed this quite often. Iraq veteran 8888. A lot of big gun tubers have talked about this. And now we're starting to see it affect other areas. It's not just against the Second Amendment people, but apparently if you talk about weapons in any shape or form. Now what I don't get on that particular one, that's me talking about a car while driving my car. And not street racing, not all the illegal street racing that we see all over YouTube that you would think if anything's going to get banned in a car, it would be that. Nope, I'm literally driving around town and on a freeway. And it's not suitable for some advertisers, so I don't get to make any money off of it. So because of that, now I have far less likely of a chance to make anything to recoup some of the time that I've put into this. I am going to look, and I haven't done any research on it yet. I have basic understanding of it, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the research and get signed up with Patreon. Now, this is not a situation where people are begging for handouts or begging for money. I don't care if you become a Patreon supporter or not. That's entirely your decision. The way Patreon works is I'll have the account, I'll have a link in my descriptions, and if you like my content and say, hey, I want to see stuff more often from Jim, you could put like $1 a month that you can donate into it, or $1 per video upload, or $10 a month, or whatever you want to do. Or you can choose not to give any money whatsoever, and that's okay. I'm not asking for anything. But what it does is it allows me to offset the costs of anything that's required to make the videos and the time outside of my shop where I can't make money for my family, because I don't want to stop doing YouTube. And now that YouTube is demonetizing many things that I'm uploading and other people are uploading, that means I have far less opportunity to make a couple of dollars here or there in order to keep feeding this channel. And I don't want to give up on it. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up with the Patreon account, and I'll put the information out there. And as a Patreon patron, I think that's what they're called, you would be entitled to certain little things. Like, you know what, if I start doing gun reviews, they'll only be available to the Patreon patrons. So it's like an added little benefit that only they would be able to see. Maybe they'll have access to videos of my different reviews a week early or a couple of days early before everybody else gets a chance to see them. You'll get a notification and the ability to see them first. I don't know. I'll have to see what benefits I'm allowed to put in there. So if you want to help support the channel and help me do more uploads more often, then please, by all means, do so. If you're thinking, oh, this guy makes enough money and he's asking for a handout, then you're completely missing the point and didn't listen to a single word that I said previous to this. Then you don't have to worry about it. You can still enjoy the content that I upload with whatever irregularity that may be at the time. For those of you that do enjoy the channel, that do want to see more, because listen, I'm the only guy out here. Well, actually, now there are a couple more, but one of the very few people that gives you a look at true, full, custom, high-end knives. I don't come out here and review Spydercos and Kershaws and stuff like that, because there are a lot of outlets for that. I share with you my passion for the things that I enjoy, and you get a chance to see things that you may not see elsewhere. I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind, that's a one-of-a-kind, that's a one-of-a-kind. So this is a one-of-a-kind. So you get a chance to experience that and see what different makers are offering, even if it's not available on their website or dealer websites. And it's just fun. I enjoy doing it. But if it's going to cost me, maybe it's going to cost me $200 by not spending that 2 hours in the shop, that's $200 that feeds my family. If I'm not making any money off of any ad revenue whatsoever, it's costing me even more. If I have to buy a new knife in order to have content for that week, well, that's money out of my pocket. Now, generally, that's not a big deal. I don't care. I'm buying a knife because I want to buy a knife. However, if I have a little more to play with, I can add more content. That's simply the way it is. So that's the changes that we're looking at here. It's nothing drastic, and again, it doesn't change your life in any way. If you don't want to be a Patreon patron, by all means, do not sign up for it. There's no pressure whatsoever. I will still upload when I can, and I hope that you enjoy the content that's here. For those of you that have supported me over the years, and always message me to send in maybe guest blade reviews or just an attaboy and a pat on the back every now and then, I love you guys, and I really appreciate it. And if you guys feel like donating $1 or $2 or whatever a month, the more people do that, the more opportunities I have with more knives and more time to be able to upload. So that's pretty much it. Want to keep this short and sweet, just to let you guys know where I'm at. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have a lot of projects lined up, by the way. I have a lot of knives sitting off to the side over here that have not seen review time yet, that will be very, very shortly. Again, gotta make the time. Right now I'm doing a run. I'm getting ready to start a run of tibias. That's going to take me a week just to start getting those things done before I can heat treat. Doing the new little fingers. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of those, and that's probably going to take me a couple of weeks to get all dozen or so of those done. So yeah, those days I can't do any of this. I've got to sit in the shop and grind all day, and my back hurts and my fingers are disgusting, and it's just a little bit tough to come out here and make a video. So that's the update for now. Leave your comments down below. If you're going to be nasty about Patreon, just keep it to yourself, because I'll just delete it anyway. I had mentioned this one time on a previous video that I may possibly consider it. And man, people are like, how dare he? He has, $5,000 knives on the table in front of him and he's begging for money. I ain't begging for shit. But what I am doing is trying to put a price on the time that I spend doing this. If you guys enjoy it and you support it, man, you're awesome. That's great. If you don't, then, you'll find another channel that may upload more quantity than I do, maybe more quality than I do, and you can go enjoy their stuff because they have the time to do it. They have a full-time paycheck coming in. I'm not dying. I'm not going out of business, and we're not going to be homeless, but I am going to spend a lot less time on YouTube. So that's kind of the way it goes. Patreon allows me to do this more often. Without it, I just won't do it as often. That's all there is to it. All right, guys, I'm out of here for now, and I'll catch you on the next video.